Hello, fellow ink drinkers, and welcome back to the Blind Girls Book Talk podcast. My name is Aria.
And I'm Belle.
And we are two legally blind sisters who love reading and love books. And so what we've done is we've created this show in order to talk about that. We talk about a wide variety of bookish content, and that can range from bad retellings of stories, book to movie adaptation comparisons, buddy reads, recent reads, bookish challenges. Really, the list does go on and on. And today, what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be talking about our unfinished series and some reasons why we didn't finish them. So as we talked about before, we had a list of books that we did not finish. We decided to do one on series as well because it's kind of like two separate things. So we're going to be talking about that today. So have you not finished a lot of series, Belle?
I guess I finished a fair amount, but there are ones that I have stopped just because I didn't either realize more books are being made or the last one came out and I bought it, but I never read it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, that's fair enough.
Unless you count not finishing a series by my third book curse. Then that's a lot more series.
Well, I think it just kind of depends, because I know for you and your third book curse, sometimes you'll just continue going through the series.
Yeah, I'll just skim through
book three or read a synopsis of it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a little bit different than stopping a series completely, unless the third book completely shattered the series entirely.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, I'll go ahead and go first. And the first series that I want to talk about that I did not finish is actually the Divergent series. So, for those of you who are born in the 90s, a little bit on the older side, of course, you'll know Divergent. And even I think Belle's group knew Divergent too.
Divergent was after Hunger Games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that would be my middle school years, so everybody was starting to get big into that.
Right. So I had read the first two books. I really liked them. If you finish the series, you'll know what happens in the last book. And essentially, I started the last book and I was like, yes, I'm super excited. I'm loving this series. And then I realized it did something that the other books in the series don't normally do. And so I was like, that's really weird. I wonder why. Now, of course, in high school, a lot of times what I would do is if I wanted to know what happened at the end, I would skip towards the end and I would read, the last little bit and then be like, okay. And then I would go back to where I was and I would continue reading. Because sometimes, I just kind of needed to know where I was going to end up. And for this one, I went to the end and saw what happened. And I said, absolutely not. So I closed the book. I think I got 2 chapters in. And I closed the book. And I said, nope, I'm not reading that. And I've never went back.
I never even touched it.
Well, but you're not a dystopian.
No, I never read that, never read Hunger Games, have no desire or willpower to do those things.
That's fair. Yeah, dystopian is definitely not your genre.
No.
So what's the first series you want to talk about?
The first one, I technically never finished the Book of Elsewhere series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Because didn't the books start coming out
Yeah.
real slow or something?
Yeah, I think we got the first one not long after it came out. And then there was just long pauses between each book. Each author's different, but a lot of authors that I know and nowadays, they're all pretty quick at turning out the next book.
I was going to say, normally it's within a year.
Yeah, no, this was a year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I think the second one was in a year. But I also started reading them when they were slowly starting to come out, I was also slowly entering my teenage years.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just...
You just kind of aged out of it.
I aged out of it, and I think we got up to the 4th book.
Okay.
And I was just like, yeah, it kind of ends on a cliffhanger. But, like, we thought, like, oh, that's just a way to end the series. Like, it's just, like, a...
ambiguous
thing, because, like, it leaves with, like, the lady coming out of the picture and stuff like that. And so I was just kind of like, okay. And I never thought much of it until Mom got me the Book of Elsewhere for, like, Christmas or something.
Oh.
And, like, it's, like, 7-8 books. And I'm just like, oh, oops.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Yeah, no, I get that. Okay, so the next one I'm going to talk about is Bridgerton. So Bridgerton on Netflix was coming out, and, you know, it exploded. And so, of course, I watched the first season of Bridgerton, and I'm like, okay, now I've got to read the books because I got to see where we're going, right? Read the first book. I like it. I read the second book, and I'm like, okay. I read the third book, too. I read Benedict's story, and I was kind of like, okay, meh. And then I get to Colin's story, which is the 4th book, and I couldn't do it. And that's the one I wanted to read really quite badly, but, like, I haven't had the motivation. I haven't had, like, the time. It's just a no from me. And I know that they have, like, a prequel series. I have those books. Have I read them? No. But do I have them? Yes. Yeah. And I just can't. Like, I don't think I'm going to go back to it. Like, I want to read the Queen Charlotte book that came out too, but then I'm like, also, like, no. So maybe after I see season 3, I'll have more motivation to be like, oh, I should go back and read the book. But I doubt it.
Okay, the whole thing with Bridgerton, like, I'm lost. I'm never going to be found, and that's okay. I'm going to stay lost. And yeah, but, like, the thing that, like, really confuses me is the whole king and queen, because technically, if I'm understanding it correctly, it's starting to take place during the American Revolution.
Yeah, so they're playing with the timelines, I think. Like, they're trying to base kind of on real monarchs and stuff, like, or at least the king and queen. But it doesn't, I don't think, happen exactly in that time frame. Like, it is very confusing.
Yeah, but I don't like it. If you're gonna do history correctly.
It can get really confusing. Like, I'm even confused. So I just, like, smile and nod and I move on. Like, that's where I am. So, yeah, it's a great time. What's your next one?
Okay, so in middle school, I think, like, 7th grade, 6th or 7th grade, the Selection series started.
Oh.
If anybody knows this series, it was real big in the community.
I was going to say, I think it's still, like, kind of like
it's still pretty big. I think, if I remember correctly, nobody come after me if I'm wrong, I think Netflix is picking it up for a series.
I don't know. I haven't heard.
I don't know. I know someone was looking into, like, doing a series for it, and to which case, all power to them. So I read, like, the first couple of books. I read all the way to the last one. And I got to the last one, read the synopsis, and I was like, I know how this is going to end. So I read, like, the last 3 chapters, exactly how I thought it was going to happen, how it ends. And I'm just like, okay, now I don't even care.
Yeah.
And, like, that was the same thing with, so I had a acquaintance who was also a big reader. And she went to middle school with me, and we both were big readers. Mm-hmm. And we sat beside each other in science.
Okay.
So our science teacher was married to our history teacher, and they knew me and my acquaintance, and they knew, like, we pretty much knew what we were doing. So they kind of were just like, as long as we got our work done and turned in, like, they didn't really care what we did. Mm-hmm. And so what ended up happening was we were reading books, like,
pretty much at the same time. Like, we read Book Thief together. Like, I showed up with it one day, and then the next day, she's like, I finished my book, and I saw you reading this, so we're going to read it together. The same thing happened with the Selection series. We weren't, like, obsessed with it, and I wouldn't even say we both liked the book.
Okay.
I think it was more so we liked the premise of the book and, like, what it was trying to accomplish. But, like, we both got mad at the book so many times.
Fair.
Like, the one night I threw it at the wall, and I'm like, did you throw your book at the wall yet? And she's like, no. And I'm like, what chapter are you? And, like, she was, like, 4 chapters behind. And then the next day she comes in, yeah, I threw the book at the wall. She's like, yeah, I did that too. So, like, the last one, like, I guess it's also because I didn't have her and she held me accountable because we were like, we're going to finish this series together. And then she went to a different high school. So, like, I didn't have her to hold me accountable.
Gotcha.
So I just never read it. I never read the story of their daughter. I never read that. I got it. I never read it. I don't even know why I got it. Curiosity. I don't know.
Probably.
Finished the series for my completionist brain. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like, I think that's the most, like, it's not even really a dystopian, but, like, I think that's the most dystopian I've ever gotten.
Gotcha. Well, fair enough.
It's messy, and, like, the love triangle, it ain't worth it.
Fair. Well, speaking of messy books, the next series that I didn't finish is Zodiac Academy. Okay, so this series, I wanted to like it, like, and part of me liked certain aspects of it. I thought it was really cool, but there were a lot of things that I did not like. And then I think I got to the 3rd book, and, like, everything that happens in that book, if you've known the series, I don't want to spoil it if you, like, really want to read it. But, like, everything just kind of, like, I think breaks apart. It's either the 3rd or the 4th book. I can't remember. But, like, everything breaks apart. And I get mad at the main character. Well, one of the main characters. I can't remember which twin it was, but I was mad at them. And just everything was insanity. And I then was like, okay, I need to see what's going on in this next book, because, like, I need to know if, like, things are resolved. Like, I need to know. And so, like, I read somebody's, like, synopsis of the next book, or, like, talking about certain plot points or something, and it didn't seem like it was getting better. And I was just like, no, absolutely not. Like, I'm not wasting my time, because at this point it's just so messy and so just, like, it's not what I want to read. It wants to be interesting, but it's boring all at the same time. So I was just like, no. Nope, I am done with that. I can't do it anymore. I'm done. No.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it was not a good time. And like I said, I wanted to like this series, like, because I was intrigued by a lot of stuff in the series. It's just everything decided to explode, and I was like, I don't care to see this come back together. Like, I don't. What's your next one?
Okay, I'm going to say this is one I haven't finished. I may in the future. I highly doubt it.
Okay.
From Blood and Ash.
Ah.
I loved the first book.
Mm-hmm.
I was not as okay with the second book. Did not read the third.
Yeah.
I skimmed through the third. Didn't like what I skimmed. And I haven't read the fourth. I think the fifth's out by now. I don't know. It's just, it ain't it. It's not. I had hope.
I hate that. I hate when you have hope.
I had hope. Because I really
I had hope.
And the first book, really liked the heroine.
Mm-hmm.
Second book, I still liked the heroine. Third book, no. No. End of second book, start of third, no. No.
Yeah, I had hope because I was like, maybe this will be kind of your gateway back into fantasy.
No.
Like, maybe this will bring it back. Yeah, no.
No. Okay, and I think it also has to do with one of the reasons I really don't like fantasy, and I've talked to Ari about this, is with my dyslexia, I cannot sound out words. Like, I can't. Like, my brain can't do it. Once I read a word and somebody tells me what the word is, I know that word then. Like, forever I know that word. It's stuck in my brain. But if it's a new word, like how little kids have to sound out, no, I cannot do that.
Yeah.
I could never do that. I don't know how people can. My brain don't do that. I'm fine.
Yeah, and then the made up names
It's
and
like
words.
made up names and words, and I'm just like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me, but okay. And you're giving me nothing, so I can try to figure out what this is. Because, like, I do a lot of, if I don't know the name of something or how to say something, I change it up to something similar in my head. So, like, I do that. Like, it's kind of like I create nicknames for the characters or things like that. Or, like, my brain puts it with a word that, like, I already know.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, this one, it was giving me things, and I went along with it for the first two. And then we got into gods and I was just like,
No.
I'm not. My brain cannot. You cannot force this. No.
Fair.
But I really liked the first book. It was promising.
Well, here's one actually that's a did not finish for mine, and I'm 95% sure it's a did not finish for you too.
Oh boy.
Outlander.
Oh yeah, I got further than you on that.
You
though.
did. So, okay.
Yeah.
So with Outlander, right? Those books are long. They're really long.
They are.
They are
monsters.
monsters. And so I read the first book. I really liked it. I read the second book and I liked it. Now, at the time, I was working and Belle was in school. So Belle was going through like one of these books in like a day or two.
Yeah,
like it was
I
fast.
mostly finished a book a day.
And so
Don't ask me how.
Belle was on book 3 while I'm still struggling through book 2. Now, she's telling me about book 3 and it might have did it fall under the third book curse?
I'm trying to remember what book 3 was.
Was it Voyager?
Is that the third or the fourth?
I don't know.
Hold on.
But anyway, so Belle is like going through book 3 and she's not spoiling anything, but she's kind of telling me like little bits and things. And I'm like, what? Like that sounds so like, especially when I finished book 2, I was just like, how is stuff in book 3 happening? And Belle's just like, it just is. And I was just like, absolutely not. Like, and I think she told me that like originally it was only supposed to be book 1 and book 2. Like it wasn't supposed to be this big whole series. And honestly, I like how book 2 ended. So I was just like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I'm not going any further because like I can't.
Oh, whoa. I got pretty far.
What book did you get to?
I got to Voyager.
Yeah, isn't that book 4?
It's book 3.
Voyager's book 3.
Voyager is technically book 3, but there's like little mini things in between things.
Oh, that doesn't.
I don't have that. So yes, I read Outlander, Dragonfly and Amber, and Voyager. Voyager, yeah, I finished it. I did not like it.
Was it the third book curse?
It must have fallen under the third book curse because I did not continue.
Yeah.
I did not continue with that series. I stopped after Voyager.
Yeah, I remember you telling me some stuff that was going on in Voyager, and I'm like, that makes no sense. And like, so far, this has made like perfect sense. So how about
I
no?
wished I stopped after book 2.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm happy. Like I'm happy sitting here in my not finishing Outlander series.
Yeah,
World.
after book 3, I was just kind of like, I got frustrated, and I was just like, nope, double nopes, all the nopes.
That's fair.
I do remember reading those books, though.
All right, what's your next one?
Oh, boy. I'm trying to think. I know there are.
I was going to say, I know there are too.
Oh, the Pegasus series.
Oh, that one we talked about a while
we
ago?
talked about a while ago that I found on Google. Yep, that one. Yeah, I don't remember how far I even got in that series.
Fair.
It wasn't far, but the way it ended, I was like, okay, it ends. Like, you know what I mean? It was kind of like Outlander, where it's like, I'm happy with this, because it was like the girl, the horse, and the guy were all going and flying to Olympus, and I was just like, I can live with that.
Yeah.
I can live with that. New York can be destroyed. I can live with this. I believe in that episode, I even say, I did not know this was more. There was more to this series.
Yeah, you just found the good sweet spot that
Yeah,
it ended
and-
for you, and that was it.
And it ended, and I was perfectly happy. And yeah, I didn't finish it because I didn't know.
Fair. Okay, well, I only have 2 more that I want to talk about. So the next one is the Touch of Darkness series. So I messed up the order in this series. I read book 1.5 first.
1.5?
Yes. Yeah,
What the
1.5.
heck?
Yeah, because this is one where she's like, she has the series like from the girl's perspective, and then she has like the 0.5s that are from the guy's perspective. So I read 1.5 thinking it was book 1. And then I think I went into book 2. I was all over the place in this series. Like, it was all kinds of out of order. And then I finally found out that where I started was not where I started, because something somewhere told me that, like, it made it seem that book 1.5 was book 1, which was lies. So I was very confused. I didn't understand. And I got real mad. And so I went back and I read book 1. And I honestly then gave up. Like, I love Hades and Persephone retellings, but this one, it was meh. And it was to the point where I was just like, okay, like, this isn't what I want. Like, this could be so much more, and it's not. So I'm just gonna not finish this. Like, I was already mad about the whole book 1.5 thing. And then just like how things went, I was just like, you know what? I'm done. So that is why I did not finish it. We'll talk about us reading books out of order one day. But like, I was trying real hard not to read this series out of order. Like, I was like, yes, I'm starting with book 1. This is amazing. And I didn't. And so then I was just mad. And it just wasn't what I wanted. And I just kept getting madder. And I was like, you know what? It's done. It's done. I'm done. Not doing it.
Okay.
You got another one?
I technically, I never finished the Canterwood Crest series.
Oh, that I haven't heard that name in a long time.
I know, right?
That's been a long time, man.
Well, yeah, that was when I was,
Little,
13,
little,
14.
young.
That was when I was riding still and showing. So whenever I was younger, I rode horses and I showed horses. And in those years, a lot of the books that I did read were horse-based. Because let me put it this way. When I'm in something, I live, breathe, and eat that thing.
Yeah, you do.
It's bad. So I went, like, my mom found this series, and it was different. So I rode Western, and it was based on, like, English riding. Didn't matter. I liked it. I say technically I never finished it, because I finished the main series. But there was a tie-in second series that, like, legit tied into, like, one of the books and, like, verged off.
Okay.
And I got it. I never touched it. I don't even know if more books came out, but
it was part of it, so
it
it's
was
kind
part
of
of
like,
it. Yeah, because it was like, so the girl goes back to her hometown over break, and like she meets like the next rising star where she used to ride, and then the path kind of diverges into her, like the next rising star diverges into her story, and like her going to Canterwood.
I see. Okay, well, I only have one more to talk about, and that is the Plated Prisoner series. So I think book 1 is like Guild, and then there's like Gleam, and like, I don't know, there's a bunch of G titles. So, okay, read book 1, was kind of like meh, but like I'm here now and book 2's out and I can read it, so like I'll do that. I read book 2. Book 2 gets like a little bit better, but it's still kind of meh. Okay, that's fine. I then get to book 3. I don't think book 4 is out yet. I don't know. And you'll know what I mean when like there's like this real big cliffhanger, like sad cliffhanger in whatever book the next to last book is. And I got to that. And I literally wanted to throw my iPad across the room because I was just like, no, I don't want to deal with this. Like, this is not good enough for me to want to put myself through whatever nonsense that's going to happen here. Like, because I know this is going to be shenaniganery nonsense and I'm not here for it. Like, I'm not. I'm done. Because, like, also, too, like, again, there were some things that I thought were neat, but, like, what I thought was neat was few and far between compared to everything else. Like, for me, it was just so meh. And everybody's like, oh, this is such a good book. And I'm just like, is it though? Is it really? And again, this is just my opinion, but, like, I didn't enjoy this one. I didn't enjoy the series. And then you get into shenaniganery and I'm like, nope, I'm not doing this. Like, it's just a no for me. As much as I like Slade, like, no. No, I'm done. That's it.
Fair.
Any more?
Here's the thing. About? I know there are, because I know there are many on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
But I can't remember them.
That's fair. And I mean, honestly, like, this is definitely not a full list by any means, because there are some that, like, I know that I did not finish that I don't necessarily want to talk about. And then there's just others that I've forgotten. Like, I know there's been a lot of series, like, back from when I was a kid that I did not finish that I don't remember. Like, I remember nothing. So, like, I think technically I've never finished Series of Unfortunate Events, technically. But, like, that was forever ago. And do I remember? No.
Yeah, I know there are more. But, like, okay, so as much as we remember every book we've read, we remember more so, like, we have to see the cover of it.
Yeah. I need to see the cover, or at least, like, the covers that, like, were around when I would have read the books, like, especially if they're older books and, like, the covers changed.
Yeah.
So, like, I know there's a lot more, but again, this is just kind of, like, a little bit of a brief list and as to why and, like, you know. And hopefully, if you're kind of, like, the same as us, like, it's a popular series that you haven't finished, like, hopefully you'll be like, oh, I'm not alone. It's not just you. Because for some of these, I definitely feel like it's just me thing, but also there are points where I don't care because it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So that being said, we want to thank you guys for coming along as we talked about our unfinished series that we've had. Of course, if you like this episode, if you like what you've been listening to, please follow the podcast and share the episode with your friends. It would really help us to grow the show, and we would appreciate the support those actions would give. Now, what are we going to be talking about next time?
Battery telling and metamorphosis.
Oh, that's going to be a great one.
Oh, good Lord.
Well, we'll see who does it, because I don't know if it's going to be you or me.
I don't know. I feel like I kind of should now.
We might.
We'll have a story.
Yes, we'll have a story time next time. So, we'll see you guys next time then. Bye.